Alright guys, welcome to our cooking show on BOJ TV. Alright, this is season 1, episode 1. The truth is we haven't given the show a name yet because we're just getting started. And of course, BOJ TV had to send for Jamaica's self-proclaimed #1 seafood chef. And tonight, well, first of all, a little preface. When we announced that we were going to start the cooking show, we got a number of emails, a number of DMs. Persons wanted to find out about cooking some exotic foods, especially seafood. Let me start by saying big up Village Cafe. This is fully sponsored by Village Cafe, and the show will actually be shot mostly at the Village Cafe locations. All right. So yeah, a lot of persons wanted us to show some seafood because Village Cafe Lona brand specializes in seafood, and they're always asking for us to show them about octopus because one person in particular said to us that they always tried cooking octopus, but it is always coming out a bit rubbery, like rubber, and they wanted to find out how can you cook octopus and get it very tender. Well, Chef Kern, I have some tricks that I learned on my trip to Europe years ago, and in particular Italy. All right, so as you see so far, we have already cleaned the sack, and you can take a look at this. We have already cleaned the sack and taken out like the ink and stuff, properly cleaned, right? This octopus was actually, well, obviously from the Caribbean Sea. It wasn't imported or anything. It's from the Caribbean Sea, and luckily for me, this octopus doesn't really has a lot of smell of the ocean. I'm not getting that raw ocean smell, and of course, I got to big up the fishermen from the Parity area. They assisted in getting me this octopus. This is actually what I would call, it's not a small octopus. It's a medium octopus. All right, and it's pretty good. That we actually, because octopus is not something that is served in the Jamaican kitchen every day, and sometimes it's hard to get. I was very lucky to get this fresh out of the sea. I really don't like seafood that is always on the fridge or seafood that is on the fridge for too long. So I actually got this straight out of the ocean. All right, so I told you already that this is already cleaned. The sack was clean. All right, so I have a few tricks that I learned in Italy. Some will say it is superstition, but hey, I don't know if it works or not, but well, I shouldn't say that because I actually get a tender octopus when I'm finished. So my first trick is that I have already started to boil the water. So my water is boiling. You can take a look. Right, so my water is boiling, and it is like, the pot is like 3/4 filled, right? And so what you don't want is, you don't want a situation whereby the octopus, it's coming, it was on the fridge for a minute, so you don't want a situation where the octopus is going into the pot in the hot water cold. So I'm just going to kind of temper. So you just like this. You can come a little closer. Right, so up and down. One, you already see it's curling. So 2, you gotta be careful, it's hot. 3, right? So this way, you're not just putting the cold octopus in the hot water. So kind of temper it a bit. And remember, the aim is to get the octopus coming out tender and not rubbery. And that's what we're showing you mostly tonight, the trick to get your octopus very tender. So we dip again. All right, dip again. Show them. All right, let's dip one more time and come up. All right, and then now we'll just leave it. Now that we have tempered it. All right, so just cover it a little bit. All right. When I come back, I have a few tricks up my sleeve which I'm going to show you. All right, that can get your octopus very tender. I'll be right back. All right, guys. So we're back. All right, so remember, this episode 1 is about teaching you how to get your octopus very tender and not a rubbery octopus that cannot be eaten any at all. All right, so I showed you how I tempered the octopus in terms of dipping it into the water, and I should have told it's plain water. It does plain water. All right, so my first trick, which I learned in Italy, which I say I don't know where it actually came from, is the cork trick. The cork trick. All right, and this one I like to use the one that's coming from a red wine, because the chef that I met with in Italy when I went, they showed me the cork trick, and some people do it, some people don't, but I'm trying it, and I always do it, so this is my first trick in terms of keeping the octopus tender. So you just simply, I took it from a red wine bottle, and you just simply drop it in there. So that's the first trick, the cork, right? And it is said, it is used especially like in southern Italy. A lot of persons use it. All right. The other thing is that we're going to let this cook for like about an hour or a little bit over an hour, right? One of the three tricks, and it's always said in Italy, is that octopus cooks in its own water. So even after we cook this for an hour, we're going to leave the octopus in the water until the water cools. And when it cools, then you can use it and cook it, or use it in any style you want, like salads, garlic, butter garlic, curry, cook it down in oyster sauce. So, but that's going to be our next episode. This episode, we're just teaching you how to come out with a tender octopus, not tasting rubbery and cannot be eaten or anything like that. All right, the second thing that I do is the bread trick. Just a chunk of bread, right? And it has to be fresh, of course. All right, because one of the things is that when you cook octopus, the aroma travels around the house or the kitchen and makes the place very smelly, right? So what I do is to get a chunk of bread right here and just dip it into some white vinegar. Just dip it into some plain white vinegar. Right here. All right, and then you just come over here. You just catch it right here and leave it. So as it cooks, it sucks up the aroma and it keeps it from spreading around the house. So as I said, we're going to just leave this to cook for a little over an hour. But when it's done cooking, we're going to leave it in the water, because it's said in Italy that octopus cooks in its own water. And once the water cools, then we'll do whatever we want to do with it. But that's going to be our next episode. So guys, this was episode 1, season 1 of our cook show right here on BOJ TV. And of course, you'll know next time of what we did with this octopus. So, but this show, we're teaching you how to come out with tender octopus. So take one last look, guys. Alright, so that's a wrap. See you next time right here on BOJ TV with the cooking show. And we want a name for the show. Assist us with coming up a name for the new cooking show. I'm out.